to gain trust with your executive. None of this happens unless you have that trust in place. And alongside that, I want you just to talk a little bit around handling sensitive information and being discreet, because as much as we all get, you know, much better at managing up as it goes on, I think the level of confidentiality that comes with that and the level of trust required comes with that is paramount. So Dolores, why don't we come back to you? Can you give us a few examples how you've built that trust?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it is just in always doing what you say you will do and just being that reliable person. Don't ever think that you've said you're going to do something, but because they haven't asked you about it, that they've forgotten, because they haven't. So you just have to always make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to do. Be honest, do good work, and that will stand you in really good stead. As I said earlier, like my exec trusted me from the beginning, which is a really privileged position to be in. And I know it's absolutely not like that for all partnerships. But as regards the handling sensitive information, like this is one of my big bugbears. Like being in EA and having access to that confidential information is something that I take really, really seriously. Because if you lose trust, that relationship's done. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from it. I a few years ago worked with a PA to the MD, and who also really badly managed the team of PAs. But she used to use information as currency, and I always thought that if I were ever in her position, I always found it really disgusting and really distasteful. Like she'd be in a pub and like telling people confidential things about the business, telling people confidential things about people's HR issues and their own personal issues, which it just honestly, I get goosebumps thinking about it now because it was so bad. And I've always just thought, if I'm ever in a really serious senior position, that is not going to be me. And I've had people in this business come to me and be like, right, what's the gossip? Tell me. And I just look at them and give them a bit of a death stare and just walk away. I'm just like, I'm sorry, my friend, that's just not me. And then I've had another person on our exco who overheard that and kind of stepped in and said, Dee's not like that. You've got the wrong end of the stick. She takes the job really seriously, really professional. But I do think that trust is something that you have to build. But as I say, for me, it's something that I hold really, really dear, because as I say, I'll say it again, once you lose that trust, it is a privilege to have that trust. And if you lose that trust, you're done. You may as well go and get another job because you're done. You know, it's as simple as that.
It's how you hold yourself as well, isn't it? And I think that makes a big difference. If you take that really seriously, that you absolutely do, you hold yourself in a way in the office that almost puts a stop to that as well. And somebody only needs to ask you once for then that to filter down into the office, that you can't go to this person for gossip. It's just That's not how they operate.
Exactly that, and that's exactly it. It has completely filtered through, so people know I'm a Volt. You're not getting anything from me. Do you know what I mean? You're not more than my job's worth. And I really care about my job. So and I don't care about gossiping around the water thing. So
Yeah. I'd say the fastest way to build trust is through consistency and reliability. Meet your deadlines, be detail oriented, listen more than you speak in the beginning, show that you understand. But confidentiality is crucial. And as Dee said, once it's broken, you can't get that back. And it's part of your brand. If people think that you're a blabbermouth, doesn't matter what you do, that's going to be your brand as someone that's not trustworthy and not reliable. So always handle sensitive information with the utmost discretion, because discretion is non-negotiable. And I follow strict protocols for handling confidential information. I don't share passwords or anything outside of like an app. Like I use LastPass. I won't put it on WhatsApp, even though it's encrypted and all those things. I will not put my brand on the line for having a flawless record of integrity, I won't do that. I will always make sure that things are done the right way. I don't care if it takes a little bit longer. It's also important to reassure executives that they can trust you by, being transparent with all of this as well. But the balance of all of this creates the foundations of trust while you're trying to safeguard sensitive information as well. So, yeah, as I said, build that trust through consistency and reliability. Build your brand as someone who is trustworthy and someone who is reliable. And that doesn't mean coming in when you're sick. Don't be that person. Nobody wants you in the office when you're sick. It means deliver what you said you would. It means be detail oriented, all those kind of things. Don't be a hero or think that you're a hero by making the whole office sick. You don't need to do that. But yeah, they're my kind of things. But I would say, even though I've kind of stepped out of being an EA now, if you were to go to any of my employers and say, what's one of the first words that come to you about me, is integrity. And that's the brand that I've left through my career.
That's a lovely way to finish it. I just have to come back on one point that Dolores made there, which is your executive will remember. You might have thought they've forgotten about something, but they never do. That's why they're the CEOs and COOs of the business. So exactly that. Always do what you said you're going to do, because they will, even if they haven't brought it up for a couple of weeks, they'll go, what about that thing I asked you about 3 weeks ago? Always make sure you do what you said you're going to do, because that's why they're CEOs and CFOs and COOs. They will remember. So that's a fantastic piece of advice.